Did it start?
Hello.
It did.
Yep. Hello. We're coming from the porch of our home in Gaston, and I'm Grandpa O,
I'm Grandma Sue.
and we're going to answer some questions for you. Um, Grandma Sue, how did you start taking interest in sewing, and then tell our audience how many machines you have?
Well, I my mom always sewed. She sewed our outfits, our clothes. So if you wanted a new dress, you went and picked out a pattern and some material, and my mom made it for us. Um, but we decided in 4-H that me and my sisters. I don't know that Shelly and Stacy took sewing. Now that I think about it, they took other things in 4-H, but I took sewing, and I got blue ribbons. I was pretty good at it. I didn't go to state fair for anything. It just proves that I'm not the perfectionist when it comes time for sewing. I just like to do it, and I don't care if it's perfect or not. So I did probably 3 or 4 years of 4-H, and 4-H is a group for young people to learn how to do different things. You could do photography, or you could do animal stuff, or I did sewing and cooking, and I did photography 1 year. Did you ever do 4-H?
No, I wasn't allowed.
And let's see. So then when it came time for prom, if I wanted a dress for prom, which is a fancy dance that you had in high school, I went to 3 proms. How many proms did you go to?
4.
With different girls?
Yes.
I went with the same guy to all 3 proms.
I went to the same prom with 4 different girls.
No, you didn't.
Different years.
I was gonna say. um, so then I just sew when it's fun. I don't sew when.
So what do you do now? So how many machines do you have, and what do they do?
I only have one sewing machine. I have one serger and one embroidery machine that also does quilting, which I've never done on there, but it does do that.
Well, I learned to sew when I was probably 10,
What'd you sew?
9, 10 years old, because I would go help my dad with the cars when he would be fixing cars, and I would be there helping my dad, giving him the right tools, and evidently I was giving him the wrong tools. So he got frustrated with me, and he said, "Oh, just put everything down, go inside and go help your mother, and send your brother out here." So I would send Uncle Joel to help my dad, and I had to go help my mom in the house with whatever, and she taught me how to sew, how to repair my pants and shirts.
With the sewing machine?
No, hand sew.
I was gonna say.
I know how to hand sew.
I've seen you sew a button. That's about it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, patches on stuff.
Yep. When I was in JC's, I'd be sewing my own patches. When I was in Boy Scouts, I did some of my own patches.
Those were hard to put on. Remember when the boys were in Boy Scouts?
Yeah. So then I also learned how to cook from my mom. So that's why I cook today.
He's a good cook.
I can prepare lots of Mexican food and a variety of Mexican food that Grandma enjoys and our family enjoys.
You can cook things that aren't Mexican. I guess you bake your cheesecake.
Oh, yeah, cheesecake. Oh, my gosh, cheesecake. So
That
then,
was just for Alana.
yeah. So then, from knowing how to do that, back in 1980, when I went as a freshman to Ball State University, and Sue went 4 years later to Ball State University.
Yeah.
And I took a photography class.
Chirp, chirp.
And in that photography class, my mom and dad bought me a 35 millimeter camera that used real film. I think it was
How much it cost?
They never told me, but it
It'd
was
be
kind of
expensive.
expensive. Yeah, back in 1980. and had a passion for photography ever since.
You just like standing out in the dark room.
Yeah. So I had that
This
camera.
is before digital cameras. This is when you had film.
Correct. And you would find me in the darkroom developing my own pictures and stuff. It was really neat. I could still smell the film developer chemical and the when you stop your photograph from exposing as another chemical, and then you hang up these pictures to let them dry in the darkroom. But the minute somebody at Ball State, no one ever walked in on you in the darkroom because there was this cylinder entry door, and it was like a revolving door that you would see in some of the stores and stuff. It's
It
really
stayed
cool,
dark in there
but
all
it
the
stayed
time?
dark the whole time, and there was like a orangey reddish light on, and it wouldn't affect the film and the developing.
That's cool.
So ever since then, I had 35 millimeter cameras, and then I had camcorders as our kids were little, and when they got older, I had camcorder after camcorder, and which was the newest and the
Video
best at the
camera.
time, video camera. And then it wasn't for, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, I got a new camera, 35 millimeter. Actually, it was a digital camera, but I still have that camera my mom and dad bought me in 1980. It'll be in the will, I'm just saying. But this new camera that I have, I think I'm going to take it with me when I go.
Are you? We'll stick it down in the coffin and see how that works.
There you go. I'll be taking pictures from heaven.
Snapshots.
Yeah. I'll be Snapchatting and
Yeah. Right.
Facebooking and all that stuff.
And
So,
doing TikTok videos.
yeah. From beyond.
So what else you want to say about your photography?
Well, business is picking up after COVID-19, or as some of our friends say, Rona. After Rona, people are now inquiring about me coming to their house and taking pictures, so that's cool. I just did a St. Francis shoot for First Communion. Before that, I did a wedding just a few weeks ago. That was really neat. Everyone had face masks on at the wedding, but at the reception, it was no holes barred. They took the face masks off and they were dancing and enjoying themselves and drinking quite a bit of alcoholic beverage. So lots of hand sanitizer in their mouth. So yeah, and it's picking up, and I love photography. I'm a part of a professional photography group that is headed by a retired journalistic photographer professor. He retired, and we're part of his group, and we have assignments every 2 weeks that we have to go do photo shoots according to his assignments, and then we come back together on Zoom and we share our pictures, which
What's
is
your assignment
really,
this
really
week?
cool. This week is what is it? Across, reflection, and colors.
So we had to go find those things.
Right.
Take a picture of them.
And for extra credit, we had to find spider webs and photograph them.
Did you get your homework done?
I got my homework done.
On time?
On time. That's not to say the others have done it on time, but now that I'm retired, I take a day or so and go out and do a photo shoot for my assignment. So,
All right.
we'll
Thanks for
see you
joining
next
us.
time. Bid you farewell.